If you want to be able to leave your body, if you want longer projections, out of body experiences, if you want to experience the afterlife and, not be afraid of snapping back to your physical body, not feeling like you're on a time limit, essentially. If you want to, heck, just be able to slide out of the body in the first place, perhaps you're lying there in your bed and you're trying to see other dimensions, you're trying to communicate to what's on the other side, and nothing is coming through. You just feel like a dead piece of lead. There's no energy movement in the body. There's nothing happening. Well, then you need to listen to this video and start working on these precise energy centers, which will charge you up with the adequate amounts of energy, which will then have you last longer in the astral plane, as well as to experience what you want once you leave the body. Now let's talk about what you want for a minute. There's many different types of travels out there. There's projecting into the emotional plane where you experience vast emotions and only emotions. There's experiencing the mental plane. Maybe you want to come up with an idea or perhaps pull an idea out of this particular dimension. I myself, I like to go to the mental plane where when I'm struggling with ideas, I need them to come a little easier, right? And so I'll project my consciousness to the mental plane. There's also the causal plane that I've been playing with for the past few days because it allows one to access knowledge about their past lives, and it definitely works, as well as to other information. It's more of a high vibratory realm of everything below it. Knowledge, learning, teaching from ascended masters. It's very bright. It's very hard to explain. If you've taken any type of psychedelic and you've peaked, you've probably touched on the causal plane. However, this plane isn't the only realm whereby which you can receive data about your past lives. There are certain aspects of the astral realm too, if you want to astral project for the purpose of experiencing your past lives, which will also show you so many. How can I put this? I just got hit with so much information, because that's what it feels like. You're not just given your past lives. You're given your karma. You're shown as to how you potentially having shifted your mindset in a past life. Maybe something happened which made you more depressed or less capable in life, can be carried over to this life. And now for some reason you can't be asked to do anything. You just don't have the motivation, or maybe you're not optimistic anymore. Maybe you've just never been optimistic because that trait happened in a past life. And so through astral projection, you can learn to not only collect these parts of yourself, but also change your perspective within your past lives, effectively eradicating your karma, only to then come back to your body feeling like, you know what, I will do that thing because, I kind of feel like I can now. And that's just the cherry on the top. There's so much more going on there. You'll be shown, I want to say, imagery indicative of conveyor belts and sacred geometry, things that can be seen and interacted with in order for beings to show you how your life operates here in a very metaphysical, esoteric way. It's just like taking psychedelics. If you take acid, or if you smoke way too much sativa, and or maybe you're a fan of ayahuasca, and everything starts to become very geometry. They'll become very complex. Your experience is very geometrical. Okay, these are the ways in which these entities in these higher vibratory realms or aspects of the astral plane like to communicate to you. Sometimes it's too much and our brains can't process the information. We're like seeing all these things happening all at once. Maybe we're receiving light language and it's specific to us and where we're at in our lives, but it's hard to make sense out of because our brains aren't used to operating at such a high frequency as well as to that specific pace. The astral plane can do this for you. But what I just mentioned there, all of that in regards to the astral plane, that's just one set of the astral plane. There are other areas of the astral plane that are more physical, more real. Other areas that allow you to communicate to other people's subconscious mind in the astral plane, as well as to perhaps watch them as they're sleeping and dive into their dreams and experience what's known by the Native Americans as a dream walk-in. You could do that too. You could do a lot of things in the astral plane. It's a very interesting space. Oftentimes we'll see our desires manifested there before it trickles down to this realm. And many of these planes, whether it's the causal, the mental, the emotional, or the astral, or the etheric plane, many of them are responsible for your ability to manifest here. Thoughts come down from these mental planes, these emotional planes, and we gradually bring an experience into this life. And I would be amiss if I don't tell you that many of the time when I've wanted something in the past, I simply just materialize it in the astral plane. I interact with it, and then I get a response over here, a manifestation of what it is that I wanted. All of these bodies, emotional, causal, mental, etheric, and astral, that will have you, these vehicles that will have your consciousness shift into either or for the purpose of either one of these astral planes that I've just mentioned to you, they are incumbent upon energy. Your ability to not only have energy moving properly throughout your system, but also to unblock specific energy centers that are responsible for said experiences. If you unblock the lower chakras, as well as to the higher chakras, you'll be able to access the energies required to then experience these different planes of existence and reap the benefits from them too. So I'm making this video today to tell you which chakras you need in order to experience an astral projection, all right? Because a lot of people are just struggling. They're just struggling, just sliding out of their body and getting out of their door, or perhaps experiencing a lengthy out-of-body experience to the point whereby which they can actually ascend into higher planes and or experience communication with certain guides, guides that were responsible for their path in life here. Perhaps you made a contract, perhaps you made an agreement with your guides, and now they're just watching you, experiencing your life here. And perhaps you want to get back to them and speak to them through astral projection, And so, astral projection, it's amazing. The energies that you need in order to facilitate astral projection start off with the root chakra. The root chakra, it's the foundation to all the other energies in the body. A lot of us know this. But what it has to offer an astral projectioner is that sense of stability throughout the projection. You can lie there and not think, oh, I got to do this now. I've got to do that now. I've got to make sure I can do this in this order. When your mind's jumping around like that, it's because the frequencies in your body are discordant. Therefore, they're supporting an erratic mindset that isn't useful for astral projection. You won't be able to stay calm or focused. And also the other energies in the body that are responsible for astral projection will also become hindered because of your erratic, anxious state. You might also experience fear during the initial process, worry or concern about bumping into a shadow being or as to whether or not you will be able to do it anyway. And so your root chakra, you need to fix that. How? If you do any yoga, asanas, those will help. But also, I'm a big fan, and have been for a while, of mantras. Mantras themselves have the ability to activate the chakras. And as we sit here and we do the mantras, you can actually feel the energy of stability expressing itself in that specific chakra. And then you have the solar plexus that needs to be worked out. Your solar plexus is important. I'll get to the sacral shortly, but I just want to make sure that I address the main chakras for astral projection in case I forget to do the others, or at least in this way, I can tell you the main important parts before my stuff starts shutting down. Because it happens. The solar plexus is important because you need this to be energized so that you have the strength to separate out of your astral body. The strength. Another term for this, or another way to look at it, is the willpower. The willingness to even do it in the first place. You see, there's the willingness to try, which can be hard for people that are dragging their feet, or perhaps they're skeptical. And the sacral chakra will help you kind of become more alive and curious enough to, try astral projection. But the willingness here to separate, it's a moment where you just decide to shift, or even just decide to stay disciplined and focused while you're carrying out a practice. All of that stability, that intention, that focus is incumbent upon your ability to have willpower and stability. So you've got to work out your solar plexus. You do that by using the mantra for solar plexus. Now, the mantra for the root is Lam. The mantra for the solar plexus is Ram. Okay? Different speakers say it in different ways. I'm a big fan of listening to native speakers say it, as well as trying to say the mantras in the precise way that they say it, all the while making it sound more like a wave. If you want more information on that, I do teach mantras as well as a whole host of exercises before the fact, which will help you articulate them properly. You can find that service on my website, ryancropper.com. Otherwise, if you're looking for something that's a little bit quicker, maybe you want to just find it right now, definitely look for native speakers online. And you're looking for a ram sound. It sounds more like a wave, okay? This will help to increase the presence of this chakra as your awareness drops here, having it grow in energy, having you feel like you can do something. You can do it. If you want to do it, you'll just lie down and do it. No one's going to get in the way. No one's going to determine as to whether or not you're going to do that thing. You're deciding. It's a certain level of grounded willness that expresses from you and moves through you during your practice, and you'll carry it into other areas of your life too. Now, the third eye is important. We all know about the Om mantra. A lot of you probably have it on your phone. But did you know that the Om mantra increases the presence of an astral projection state in and amongst your third eye? As you say Om, and you say it really well, there's a certain feeling that expresses itself in its head, or in your head. It feels as if a mind starts to express itself here. And that's you becoming aware of the frequency that's necessary to activate different Siddhis or Siddhas, depending on how you want to say it. I personally came to interacting with this energy through the Om mantra whilst I was learning how to astral project by myself. It took a while, but I eventually figured it out. And you want to know what I found out? What I found out is that the energy expressed in the third eye when you say Om is the same energy that's expressed when you're in the hypnagogic state for astral projection. And so as you say Om over and over and over again, and you increase the presence of this energy in your mind, you are developing this energy center for the purpose of expressing and interacting using the energy of astral projection. And so the greater you can experience the energy here with Om, the more likely you are to experience altered states that lead to astral projection. I'm talking about altered states where you see windows into other planes of existence. I'm talking altered states where you are able to get to the vibrational state and or hear voices from other dimensions like the ethers or the other many realms that I mentioned earlier. And so you can see it's very important that you use these mantras properly. And of course you could do the others too. You got the crown, you got the throat, you got the heart, you got the high heart chakra, which I discovered by mistake. Because I was doing the Lam for the heart, but I found that what would be expressed was a chakra that was higher up. And it would feel like a specific color. Now, I would like to mention, seeing as this is a video on chakras as well as to astral projection, that earlier along in my channel, I mentioned as to how the chakras aren't real if you just imagine them with their colors and their funnels and try to elicit a bias emotional response. So perhaps you feel like the heart should be love, so you try to generate the feeling of love from a biased place. Combine it with the imagery of the chakra and force it into your energy field. I mentioned how that wasn't a real chakra, and I still stand by that. Because if any of you would have kept watching the video, which I'm pretty sure no one did because I got so much hate for it, you would have come to learn that the way I like to do it is by using mantras first, as well as energy work, qigong, to activate the chakras in a non-biased way. That way you get to feel where they are in the body specifically, and the emotions and or mind that is expressed within the chakra. And then, if you'd like, you can imagine these chakras on top, if they're funnels or balls, whichever way you would like, on top of this energy that's now expressed itself. I mentioned that in the video, because that's how you'd want to do it, okay? Try these out, the mantras for the root, the solar plexus, and the third eye. And you'll find that you'll gain enough energy to be out for a while. And you'll also start to push through any barriers that you've faced regarding the initial process to begin with. Again, whether it's vibrations, trying to get to the vibrational state, whether it's trying to see through the third eye or just see different planes, you name it. And if you have a calcified pineal gland, don't worry about it. I'll leave a link to a video above, which will help you to break down that sedimentary lump inside of your head. Take care. I'll speak to you all pretty soon. Peace.